Hey, welcome back to DieCash Cars. So today, guys, I wanted to talk about a brand of diecast that I feel like doesn't get enough love from the community. And on top of that, it's got a pretty sweet chase piece, and that is Racing Champions Mint and their chase models, the Gold Strike. So these are all from the Round 2 family, so along the lines of Auto World, Johnny Lightnings, etc. I mean, you can tell they have a lot of shared castings across all of those different brands. And Racing Champions has always been my favorite for the Plymouth Superbird and the most iconic Superbird out there, the Richard Petty Blue Superbird. And to have this in a Gold Strike, I actually just picked this up recently, and I'll go into that detail a little bit later, but this is my very first Gold Strike. This is one of the chases that I have never found in person in the wild before, just due to the scarcity of Racing Champions. I mean, in my area alone, there are only 2 stores that sell Racing Champions, and that is Myers and Hobby Lobby. So basically your mainstream stores, Walmarts, Targets, you know, even to your Dollar Trees and Dollar Generals, etc., they do not carry Racing Champions. So it's almost a rarity when it comes to finding a Gold Strike, because I can almost guarantee that my stores, the ones that do carry Racing Champions, you'll only ever see them stock a new case maybe once in every 2 months or so. So it's very hard to come by these. But as far as the Gold Strikes themselves, what I love about them is that they do have a limited number from a mainline standpoint. So you can see this release from 2018 only came in a quantity of 2,500. So that is both the Gold Strike as well as the regular mainline in the blue. But the Gold Strikes themselves, again, introduced in 2018, you can see in the wording there, it is limited to only 2% of the overall production. So 2% of 2,500, there is only 50 of these petty Plymouth Superbirds out there in the world, and I have one of them in hand right now. Why I picked this up recently off of eBay, and I'll give you guys a little insider. I ended up paying a pretty penny for this, so I dropped about $180 on both of these pieces. But again, like I said, I feel like Round 2 Racing Champions, they make the nicest 1/64 scale Plymouth Superbird. And I recently just found out that through the Petty Museum, you can ship 2 items to have the king himself, Richard Petty, sign them for free, as long as you provide return postage. I mean, he will literally take his time, sign whatever you send him, 2 articles, and send them back to you. And I had to take advantage of that because Richard Petty essentially is the best NASCAR driver in the world. I mean, ever since the 70s, I mean, he's been tearing it up. He holds a number of records. I mean, most wins, I mean, you name it, he is on the leaderboards across the entire sport, and he'll honestly never be dethroned. And I've watched some documentaries about the king as well, and he's just super grateful when it comes to his fans. That's the reason why the Petty Museum and Richard Petty himself do these free autographs for all of their fans, even mail-ins like this. Whereas a lot of other celebrities and athletes, they charge you for their autograph. But Richard Petty, he has said in a number of interviews that, I mean, he obviously came from a not so rich history and background, and it's racing that really took him over the top, and he's always been grateful to his fans for his success. And it's been said that Richard Petty has even stayed behind on race days just to sign autographs for hours. Even to this day, even in his age of 80, almost 90 years old, he's still giving away and signing free autographs. So again, shout out to the king, shout out to Richard Petty and his entire team. I mean, the fact that he cares about his fans this much, I mean, man, I had to get these pieces to commemorate him, get the autographs, and just have them as a keepsake forever, and tell this story again to my own kids when they get older, when they learn who he is. I mean, just gonna be cherished pieces here. So that's why I picked up these pieces, and then also to do this showcase to just talk about another diecast chase that exists out there. And just like that, 1 week later, I got the return postage box back from the Richard Petty Museum autograph request. And let's check it out, guys. So again, I provided all the packaging, the shipping label. All you gotta do is ship it there. They'll ship it right back. And look at that. Sure enough, Richard Petty autograph in a gold paint marker. And I'll admit, I actually requested the gold paint marker. I provided a gold paint marker for Richard Petty to sign it in gold to go along with the gold strike. And guys, that is gorgeous. I mean, 50 of these in the world, and one of them is autographed by the king himself. I mean, would I be so bold to say this might be a one of one, guys, when it comes to gold strikes? That is gorgeous. I cannot thank Richard Petty and the Richard Petty Museum enough for doing this for me. And at essentially a $0 cost, but this is a grail piece in my collection moving forward, guys. I mean, that is just great. So the one funny thing, guys, is that I purchased these paint markers specifically to get a gold color to ship to Richard Petty, and he didn't ship it back, which is totally fine. But you can see I got all the colors but the gold. So if you see Richard Petty walking around with a gold paint marker, that was a gift from DieCash Cars. But man, I cannot get over the autographs on these cars. I've talked about autographs on this channel before, but honestly, guys, this is next level collecting. It's an aspect of the hobby that we do not incorporate with our diecast cars. We just like the cars themselves, and if anything, a lot of collectors are loose collectors. They open their packaging, so they're not going to get an opportunity to have anything autographed or it be a keepsake within their collectibles in their collection. But if you look at all the other types of hobbies and collectibles out there, like sports cards or Funko Pops, autographs on those collectible items are the big thing. I mean, it's a level of personalization that just adds to the sentimental value and honestly the monetary value of your collectibles as well too. But I mean, how do you put a price on something like this? I don't even know where to begin. I mean, these are going to be personal collection pieces for me, so I don't need to worry too much about the value, but it's just, again, next level collecting. It adds so much more value to the collections that we all value so much already. So if you don't have autographed pieces in your collection, again, it doesn't have to be Richard Petty. It could be anybody, whoever your idol is, whoever you follow on YouTube, for example. If you want a DieCash autograph, I mean, just let me know. I will be glad to put my John Hancock down somewhere, guys. But just something to think about if you're getting bored of your collection. I mean, look to your heroes and try to get their autographs. I honestly really enjoy it, and I've been doing it a lot more and more, and I'm looking out for opportunities like this. Also, if you have some awesome Richard Petty memorabilia out there, it doesn't have to be Diecast Cars, but I'm sure there's plenty of you with number 43 Superbirds out there, or Road Runners, and he had a number of cars that he raced with, and I'm sure you guys have a lot of that. So feel free to send them out to the Richard Petty Museum. I'm sure they would love to see a slew of diecast cars come through. I mean, hopefully we don't bombard the guy and he's just sitting there for 2 days straight signing autographs, right? But I mean, again, just from what I've seen about the guy, I'm sure he'd be more than grateful to do it. But that's what I got for you guys today. Get your Richard Petty autographs. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time on DieCash Cars.